Alright, I'd like to start by showing a few of the things that I've done on this cart and just trying to explain some of the reasons why I did it. So let's flip this around here. Alright, start down here. Hopefully I'll be able to see it and it's not too dark down here. Oh, it might be too dark. But right here is, where's my finger? Right back in there is the shifter linkage. Okay, what I did is drill a hole through it and weld a steel plate onto the bar that came from the actual vehicle shifter onto the transmission shifter, or I'm sorry, I welded the plate onto the vehicle shifter, drilled a hole through the plate and the vehicle transmission shifter, and put a self-tapping bolt through it upside down. And I've tried it a few times. It seems to work. It seems to be pretty solid. So that part seems to be working. And this, I got the brain all hooked up good. I know it's zip tie hell here, but in wiring, I don't even know what to say about that. But it does fire. It does start right after the run. So that's all hooked up correctly. After I figured out, which wire went where from the brain. And then, of course, fuel pump. I moved the fuel pump over a little bit. It was on these two bolt holes right here, but I moved it over to these two because the wire, or the hose, was way out here. And I didn't want it to get hooked on something and pulled off. So I moved that over. And let's see. Yeah. Oh yeah, the mount right here. I welded a steel plate across from there to there, and the steel plate going down there, and I got those two for the front mount bolted down in. I got all the wires zip tied, of course, up out of the way so they don't melt. I kind of had a little mishap already with that, and melted some spark plug wires and an ignition wire right on the exhaust and the head. I went ahead and I welded the exhaust all up myself. Of course it's horrid, but I can't weld. But I made several pieces. I don't know if you can see back there. Got the main piece. It's only about 2 inches long coming from the top. And then I welded on another piece that's an elbow. And then I welded on another piece here all the way out to here. And then I welded on this exhaust. That's too big for the pipe, but I just kind of filled it in with the welding rod. And the exhaust is actually only a cherry bomb. It's not an actual full exhaust. You probably can't see in there. It's probably you can't see nothing in there. But it's just a straight pipe basically. It's just got the cherry bomb things around it. The I don't know what you want to call it. The honeycomb inside, around the outside, with the straight pipe straight through it. The carburetor's giving me fits. The crazy thing with that carburetor is I had it running, sitting here idling, right? And I got a carburetor cleaner, started cleaning the outside of the carburetor, then suddenly it just died. And it would not start back up at all. So what I did is I took the top of the carburetor off, and lo and behold, there's no gasket on it at all, none. So I made one out of some gasket paper to the best of my ability, not knowing exactly where all the holes are supposed to be. And it does run, but it's idling a little too high. So I think I'm gonna take the top back off and just check my gasket and then go from there. But everything else is working fine. I got a overflow, half zip tied, half bolted down, and it does work. I got my emergency brake reservoir up here, out of the way, and all these wires zip tied everywhere. Getting everything out of the way. I adjusted the clutch a little bit tighter because it didn't seem like I was pushing it in far enough. So I got that a little further adjusted. The oil pressure gauge and the temperature gauge will not hook up to this engine with the fittings that I have. So I'm gonna have to get some different fittings for these. So I just have them out of the way. Like right there's the oil pressure one, and right there is the temperature sensor one. But the alternator charges, everything seems to work right. I found a dipstick for it and got it thrown in there because the engine didn't have a dipstick. Out in my junkyard I had another 4-cylinder. It happened to have a dipstick in it, so I grabbed it out of there and popped it in there. I guess we'll see. I'm gonna mess with the carburetor a little bit, and then from there, oh, this looks horrible, man. But if it drives and it runs, it's all that's gonna matter, I guess. As long as I can have some fun. That's what it's all about, having fun.